Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to review the Triangle Borea BR03 bookshelf loudspeakers. These speakers are designed by the French company Triangle in France. They are assembled in China. You have to go much further up the line to get speakers that are made in France. But that doesn't detract from what they do at all. I got these about a month ago, and when I did, I posted a sound demo and an unboxing video. You can check those out if you like. I would say that this is one spare pair of speakers that really took me by surprise, not because they sounded amazing, but it was quite the opposite. When I first was listening to them, I didn't think they sounded all that great at all. But I gave them a chance, and I kept listening to them over, I would say, the next 2 weeks. Not even sure exactly when it happened, but at some point they kind of just woke up, and they sound really good. I would say that it's one of the better sounding pairs of speakers I've had in here recently, and that was going up against the ELAC debut reference DBR62, the Polk LSIM 703, and the KEF Q150. All of those are in a similar price range of about $600. If you can find the Polk LSIM, which is a discontinued speaker, on sale like I did. I think that this is a speaker that's going to appeal to a lot of people. The 1-inch silk dome tweeter does an outstanding job of delivering details from the music to your ears, and there is an EFS waveguide. It's basically a bar that runs through the top to bottom on the tweeter with a small break in the middle. And it's supposed to allow for an effortless dispersion of sound and make the speakers have a boxless sound to them. So it would be difficult for you to locate them in the room. You would just hear sound everywhere. And I would say that's going to be highly dependent on your room's acoustics and whether or not you have acoustic treatments in your room. I didn't get them to sound quite that way, but they have a very wide sound stage. The sound easily wraps around my head on certain material, and it's very nice. The bass response is handled by a 6.5-inch untreated cellulose paper cone woofer, and that is white in color, which ties into some of the other design elements on the front of the speaker, like the triangle logo, which is written across the bottom. It looks good. The vinyl wrap that I got on my speakers is a walnut color, and it looks great. I didn't see any seams. There are no bubbles in the vinyl. It looks like a very well put together pair of speakers. The gloss black plate that's on the back of the speakers where the binding posts are held is a really nice touch. It really contrasts the walnut and just sets it off, although you're not going to be looking at the back of the speakers that often. The binding posts are silver in color, and each one is embedded with the ring, or a ring, that denotes the polarity. So one has a red ring, one has a black ring. It's good looking, it's well made, it's well put together, and I think Triangle did a great job with it. The knuckle wrap test. The cabinet does give off quite a bit of resonance in my opinion. I think it's more resonance than a lot of the other speakers that I've tried recently, but somehow this doesn't carry over into the listening experience, which is a really good thing. The listening experience, I would say, is never going to be fatiguing. The highs are clear, detailed, but they're never going to make you have to cut a listening session short. They're not going to be too bright, too forward, too in your face. They're just, it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. They're just right. And again, the way that they disperse into the room, it's a really enjoyable listening experience. The mid-range is probably the star of the show with the speaker. It's slightly more forward than the treble or the bass, and this brings vocals, backing vocals, and backing instruments forward where they weren't there in other recordings I'd heard. So it was kind of neat to hear this, and you're really getting a different experience listening to these speakers compared to some of the others I've had here. In fact, compared to most of the others I've had here. Now, the bass response is really great for a 6.5-inch driver. You don't want to try and fill a huge room with these speakers without maybe pairing with a subwoofer, but you're going to be surprised by how much low end this 6.5-inch driver is going to put out. I think the untreated cellulose paper cone woofer is another reason why tonally this speaker sounds so good. It's not something that people do a lot of today. Most of the woofer cones are treated with something, if they're starting as a paper foundation, or they're made out of woven Kevlar or aramid fiber, what have you. They don't get the vocals quite right, as well as the tonality from a lot of the instruments that I'm hearing. So that is a definite advantage. The speakers are not power hungry. They are 90 dB efficient, so you can basically run them off of darn near anything. 90 watt peak power handling means, you know, they will accept power from a large amplifier, and they'll only take what they need and use it. But you don't need to have a lot of power to get a lot out of these speakers, thankfully. I paired them up with several different integrated amplifiers, including the NAD C316BEE, the Denon PMA 600NE, the Cambridge Audio AXA35, as well as the Cambridge Audio CXA60. And I think that the Cambridge Audio CXA60 did the best job with these speakers. They complement each other very well, as the CXA60 offers a really wide soundstage, really authoritative bass, and really pulls a lot of details out of your music. So combining those two together, it's like getting the best of both worlds. And I think that it's something that's not going to break the bank either. I would say that this is probably one of the better values in audio today. I tried out a number of different speakers against them, and for me, the Triangle Audio speakers gave me what I was looking for. By bringing those voices, that tonality, that mid-range forward, and by delivering a detailed, spacious high notes along with some very strong bass, it just presented everything I was looking for in a speaker. And I think that for a small set of bookshelf speakers, these are pretty remarkable. The MSRP on them is $549 US, and they come in black ash, walnut, or white. So I hope you enjoyed that review. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks for joining me.